So at this point, we know Black Bolt and White Flare is our last set in Scarlet and Violet, and the next era will be after that. In this next era, the new gimmick, I guess it's not really new, but it's being reintroduced, is Mega Evolutions, which is from X and Y. So I'm going to show you guys this post. There's some interesting things that are happening seemingly for this new Mega Evolution set that I wanted to talk about here because, it just seems like supply still is an issue. Um, even with this new era, it seems like it might continue. We'll see what happens though. Maybe it's a bust and then maybe it won't be too bad, but we'll see. So as you can see by the title here, English Mega Evolution set to release on September 26th, but expect pre-release shortages. So let's talk about the shortages that they're going to mention here. So TPCI has informed tournament organizers that the first English Mega Evolution set will release on September 26th. Now, if you think about it, it's kind of crazy, and you'll see why here, because it's like Pokemon, I feel like they're hurting themselves, right? I mean, this has been an issue that has been talked about before, but they release sets too close to each other where, this whole thing with printing tons of, a certain set, it just doesn't really seem possible when they're coming out with sets every 2 months. And you'll see, Black Bull White Flare here. I'll get to that, but when it's released, it's kind of ridiculous in my opinion that there's supply shortages and they're releasing sets just insanely quickly. I think it's kind of dumb. We don't know its name yet. Pre-releases will take place from September 13th to the 21st. Our set will be based on Japan's Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia. It releases on August 1st or 2 months earlier. Typically, our Q3 set releases in August, but TPCI sometimes pushes it to September if there's a special set releasing beforehand. This allows for more breathing room. In this case, we're getting Black Bolt White Flare, which is the specialty set, on July 18th. Now, if you think about this, this is literally 2 months before this Mega Evolution set, right? Because July, August, September, it's 2 months. And you can see why, possibly they're going to have and do some, I guess, some shortages, maybe on purpose. I'll kind of talk about that here next. I feel like this really doesn't mean that the entire set is going to be short print or anything. I think it could mean something else, which I'll get to here. But you can see here, unfortunately, TPCI has also informed organizers that pre-release kit allocations may be lower due to continuing product shortages. However, they say this won't necessarily be the case for future events. So, like I said, I don't think this is indicative that the set is going to be short printed. I feel like what possibly could maybe be why they're doing this. This is just a theory. It's not 100% why they're doing this, but like I said, I'm just, in my, I guess, mind, this is what I've thought about. So I believe possibly, the reason why they're, having lower allocations of pre-release kits is possibly because maybe they're going to focus more on printing all their products that are going to show up at retail shelves. Build a battle boxes, those sort of things are for pre-releases, and those types of things, it's going to take up space, obviously, for them printing, like whatever they're going to use, their printers or whatever facility or space they're going to use to print, build in battle boxes. That's something that they could be using to make probably other products. So my guess is that they're doing this to possibly maybe print more of the normal products, and I guess just they're going to have to then limit pre-release kit allocations. That's all just a theory. I don't know if it's correct, but I feel like that's probably why they're doing this. So don't take this, thing as, there's going to be shortages for pre-releases as, oh, this set, it's going to be short printed. I don't really think that's what it means. So that's just my take. You guys can let me know down in the comments if you think that's what that means, or maybe am I wrong? Do you see it in a different way? But that's what I think might be the case of why there are going to be lower allocations of pre-release kits. So here is the Japan's TCG schedule. So as mentioned, August 1st will be the first Mega Evolution set for the Japanese side. Some pre-constructed decks. I guess Inferno X is that. I think is that the other set, like the main set, another set coming out. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Legends ZA, is that the game? Then Ninja Spinner, Is that another set? I'm not really sure. These probably are sets, but not really sure. So let's just read some of the comments and we'll be done with this video. At this point, I'm concerned the hype peak will have to fade before they will catch up. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point, and maybe I'll make a separate video to talk about later, but I feel like at this point they probably should have printed way more products than they, have done. Like obviously some stuff with, Prismatic has been, you could say, restocked and not really reprinted a ton of stuff. But I feel like at this point they should have done more, and it's kind of weird now that things really haven't changed much, to be honest. So all the product pages on Pokemon Center that are like more inventory of this product will be available later this year. Like, is that going to be December or what? With shortages now confirmed to be lasting through late September at least, they're kind of running out of months that are later this year. So like I said, the shortage is confirmed. I don't think that just means that the whole set is going to be, there's a shortage of supply. I just think they're just kind of saying, you know what, we're going to cut printing, these pre-release kits, and we're just going to focus on, products that are going to show up at retail shelves. That's just my guess, though. And this person, I guess, responds to this comment. Yeah, it's starting to seem like they don't want to catch up. Not while every product sells out instantly. I mean, what incentive do they have to print more at this point? Now, there, I guess, are two perspectives you could see, right? You could see this person's perspective of the whole situation where Pokemon maybe wants this to happen. Maybe they want all the scarcity and to create artificial scarcity, like some people have said before, so that everything is hot, everything sells out, and it's a crazy thing, and there's a bunch of hype. Maybe that's what they want, but another argument could be made is that, with these really popular sets, such as Destined Rivals and Prismatic Evolutions, why don't they just print as much as they can? Because most likely, people will buy them regardless, and they're just going to probably sell out instantaneously. Even if the market price does dip, people are going to buy them off retail shelves instantly, so therefore maybe they aren't incentivized to make a ton of specific maybe sets and products for that set to make as much money as possible. So there are different ways you could look at it, but both ways I think could make sense. I wonder which other megas will be featured in the set, since the XY sets usually featured multiple megas, maybe Mega Audino or Gallade, okay, whatever. 6 to 8 months, really doing heavy lifting this year. I'm guessing they're talking about reprinting or catching up with printing or whatever. Pre-release was the only way I could get my hands on a set, but now I might not be able to get any product at all. So I'm guessing they're talking about going to pre-release, I guess, events, and how possibly now, since, they're going to be cutting it short, at least the pre-release kits, there's going to be less probably to go around for pre-release events, which does suck for people that, I guess, if we're just able to get every single set just based off of pre-release and now they're cutting it short. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Unless there's a massive influx of new pre-release listings, how can there be less allocations than usual? Are they running out of paper? Like I said, I'm guessing, my theory, I'm not going to repeat it again, but I'm thinking that may be possible. Set is looking nasty. Okay, this person, I think this will be the last comment here. Or there's one more down here I want to read. So this person responds, the printers are not infinite. Pokemon does not have their own printers in the West. They have to book in advance 6 months. So when these printers are clogged with reprints, there's less space for new ones. I guess finding new factories or setting up is not as easy as people think, especially if they complain about quality the second they get the reprint. In Europe, they use the same factories as Magic, for example, so they are not always free. TCG is printing from regular printing, so they can't just ask anyone with paper. So last comment here. The incentive is the more they print, the more money they make. They could literally print infinite Prismatic, Destined, and Black Bolt, and it would be bought out guaranteed. So of course they want to push out more when demand is this high. So that's the other, I guess, theory that I stated with that, I guess, comment. So what do you guys think about this? Are you surprised that, I guess, they're saying they're already calling or saying that there's going to be a shortage of pre-release kits? Do you think my theory is somewhat warranted? Do you agree with me, or do you think it's some other reasoning? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. We'll see if this continued supply shortage really happens with this new era, because as I previously mentioned before, usually, at least in history, every single time we enter a new era, seems like there's like a huge amount of people that dislike the new era for whatever gimmick there is, and then usually that's when things start to go downhill, demand starts to fall off. That happened with Scarlet and Violet, and with this Mega Evolution thing, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But if there's shortages and stuff, on pre-release, I mean, that's already not a good sign. But maybe this will be an anomaly, and maybe the start of this new era will still be really expensive. But we'll see what happens, how people, I guess, respond to the cards that will be in this set. We'll see how people respond to Mega Evolutions, if people will like it or if people won't. So that's all I want to talk about here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.